Albert Einstein. A Journey Through Struggles and Triumph. Albert Einstein, one of the most celebrated scientists in history, was not born with a golden path laid before him. His story is not just one of extraordinary intellect but also of resilience, perseverance, and overcoming challenges that would have deterred many. A challenging beginning. Einstein was born in 1879 in the small town of Ulm, Germany. As a child, he was far from the prodigy one might imagine. He didn't start speaking fluently until the age of 4. Leading his parents to worrying about his intellectual development. His teachers at school were no more optimistic. They found him slow, unengaged, and often disruptive. Albert's habit of questioning everything made him stand out, but not in a way that earned him praise. His relentless curiosity, which would later revolutionize the world, was seen as defiance in a rigid school system that valued obedience over creativity. By the age of 10, young Einstein found solace in a family friend, Max Talmud, who introduced him to books on mathematics and philosophy. These books opened a new world for Albert, feeding his imagination and thirst for knowledge. But his newfound intellectual awakening wasn't enough to shield him from the pressures of traditional education, dropping out and starting over. At 15, Einstein faced a major turning point. His family moved to Italy due to financial difficulties, leaving him alone in Munich to complete his education. Isolated and disillusioned with the authoritarian teaching methods, Albert eventually dropped out without obtaining a diploma. For many, this might have marked the end of academic ambitions. But not for Einstein. He believed in his ability to learn on his terms. He later applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, despite failing the entrance exam, struggling particularly with subjects outside of math and physics. He persevered, studying at a preparatory school and reapplying successfully the following year. The struggles of young adulthood. Life at the Polytechnic wasn't smooth. Einstein's unconventional thinking often clashed with the structured expectations of his professors, while his classmates followed the curriculum. Einstein spent his time exploring advanced concepts on his own. His professors, unimpressed by his rebellious nature, refused to recommend him for academic positions. After graduation, Albert found himself unemployed, with no prospects in academia. It was a humbling period for the young physicist, who had to take a low-paying job as a patent clerk in Bern, Switzerland. On the surface, it seemed as though he had failed to achieve his dreams. But beneath the mundane routine of reviewing technical documents, Einstein's mind was alive with ideas. The miracle year. In 1905, at the age of 26, while still working as a patent clerk, Einstein published for papers that would change the course of science forever. These included his theory of special relativity, which introduced the equation E equals mc, and his groundbreaking explanation of the photoelectric effect, for which he later won the Nobel Prize. What made this achievement even more remarkable was that Einstein had no access to a formal laboratory or significant resources. His work was born out of sheer determination and intellectual passion, proving that brilliance can thrive even in the most unlikely circumstances. Fame and challenges. With fame came new challenges. Einstein's ideas were revolutionary, but they also attracted skepticism and criticism from the scientific community. His theories challenged long-held beliefs, and he often faced opposition from established physicists who were unwilling to accept his radical concepts. Einstein's personal life also added to his struggles. His first marriage to Mileva Merrick, a fellow physicist, was fraught with difficulties. Their relationship deteriorated under the pressures of financial instability, Einstein's demanding work, and differing expectations. Despite these struggles, Albert remained deeply devoted to his children, even as his marriage ended in divorce. Exile and perseverance. As the Nazi regime rose to power in Germany, Einstein, a Jewish man, became a target of hatred. His work was denounced, and his safety was in jeopardy. In 1933, he fled to the United States, leaving behind his homeland and much of his personal history. Despite the heartbreak of exile, Einstein continued his work, joining the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton. Even in his later years, Einstein remained a vocal advocate for peace and social justice. He used his fame to speak out against war, racism, and the misuse of science, particularly the development of nuclear weapons. Legacy of resilience. Albert Einstein's life was far from easy. He faced rejection, isolation, personal loss, and political persecution. Yet, through it all, he never stopped questioning, learning, and striving to understand the universe. His story is not just about scientific genius, but about the human spirit's ability to rise above challenges. Einstein once said, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." His life is a testament to this philosophy. From a struggling student to a world-renowned scientist, Einstein's journey inspires us to embrace curiosity, face adversity, and never stop seeking the answers that lie just beyond our grasp. The later years. A new beginning in America. When Albert Einstein arrived in the United States in 1933, he was already an internationally renowned physicist. However, the transition to a new life was not easy. He had left behind more than just his homeland. He had left his friends, colleagues, and a sense of familiarity. The rise of anti-Semitism in Germany had turned him into a political refugee, and he carried the weight of witnessing his nation crumble under the forces of hate and tyranny. Einstein took up a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey, a haven for intellectuals fleeing persecution. Princeton provided him with the freedom to pursue his research, but the pain of exile never left him. He once remarked, "I do not carry my country on my tongue, but in my heart." Despite his personal struggles, Einstein quickly became a beloved figure in the U.S. His humble demeanor, combined with his wild hair and eccentric personality, endeared him to the public. Children would knock on his door asking for help with their math homework, and neighbors often saw him walking around town in his old, worn-out sweaters. The shadow of war. As the world edged closer to World War II, Einstein's role as a scientist became entangled with global politics. In 1939, he co-signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning of the potential for Nazi Germany to develop nuclear weapons. This letter, written in collaboration with physicist Leo Szilard, was pivotal in the creation of the Manhattan Project, a development that Einstein would later regret deeply. Although Einstein was not directly involved in the Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb's use on Hiroshima and Nagasaki weighed heavily on his conscience. He became an outspoken advocate for disarmament and international cooperation, using his fame to push for peace. Einstein's public statements often reflected his inner turmoil. "The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything except our ways of thinking," he lamented. "Thus we drift toward unparalleled catastrophe." Science, philosophy, and faith. Beyond his political advocacy, Einstein continued to delve into the mysteries of the universe. However, his later scientific work did not achieve the groundbreaking success of his earlier years. He spent much of his time searching for a unified field theory, a theoretical framework that would reconcile general relativity and quantum mechanics. This quest consumed him, but he never succeeded in completing it. Despite this, Einstein's contributions to science extended beyond equations and theories. He often reflected on the philosophical and spiritual implications of his work. He believed deeply in the harmony of the universe, famously stating, "God does not play dice with the universe," a remark that showcased his discomfort with the randomness of quantum mechanics. While not religious in a traditional sense, Einstein described himself as having a cosmic religious feeling, marveling at the beauty and order of the natural world. A humanitarian legacy. Einstein's later years were defined by his humanitarian efforts. He was a staunch supporter of civil rights in the U.S., speaking out against racism and segregation. He formed a close friendship with African-American singer and activist Paul Robeson, and supported the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People (NAACP). Einstein viewed racism as one of the gravest threats to humanity, calling it a disease of white people. The final years. In the last years of his life, Einstein remained as curious and active as ever. He continued to correspond with scientists, philosophers, and political leaders worldwide, offering his insights and encouragement. However, his health began to decline. In 1950, he was diagnosed with an abdominal aortic aneurysm, a condition that would eventually claim his life. On April 18, 1955, at the age of 76, Albert Einstein passed away in Princeton. True to his humble nature, he requested that there be no grand funeral or monuments in his honor. His brain was removed for study, a controversial decision, but his body was cremated, and his ashes scattered in an undisclosed location. The eternal legacy. Albert Einstein's impact on the world transcends time and disciplines. His contributions to physics laid the foundation for countless advancements in technology, from GPS systems to nuclear energy. His philosophical musings continue to inspire thinkers, reminding us of the profound connection between science and humanity. But perhaps what makes Einstein's legacy so enduring is not just his genius, but his humanity. He was a man who loved music, played the violin to relax, and cherished simple pleasures. He valued curiosity over conformity, kindness over recognition, and peace over power. Einstein's life teaches us that even the greatest minds are not immune to struggle. His path was marked by rejection, isolation, and adversity. Yet, he never stopped asking questions, challenging conventions, and seeking the truth. As he once said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." Albert Einstein became both, and in doing so, he showed the world what it truly means to persevere and to dream.